Welcome to this week's Under Our Umbrella. So we wanted to do a little something different for this Under Our Umbrella. I know that we've been doing a lot of traders reviews, but we have another review for you for the Under Our Umbrella. Mm-hmm. We all sat down and we watched Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model, and we are here to talk to you about it today. How we're going to work this thing is we're going to split it up into 3 little pieces. I'll handle episode 1, Nika will handle episode 2, and Frenchie will end us off with episode 3. But we have some things we must discuss. Mm-hmm.
First, you want to be on top?
When they started playing the theme song, I said, oh!
Nostalgia.
I immediately got to jig it. I want to flip my hair and stuff. I was ready, right?
Right.
If I could have you all, before we get into each episode, give me just one word of the culmination of watching this whole doc, how you felt. Just one word. Where did it leave you? Only one.
Okay.
You'll have time to talk about how it made you feel, but give me, if you could think of one word that this doc made you feel. And I would say, for me, my word is clarity.
I'll just say interesting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Shocking.
Fair. All right. With that, let's get to it. Before we go into the episode breakdown, I just want to give a small little blurb.
Put our umbrellas up.
Oh, let's put our umbrellas up. I'm sorry. Let's do it. Before we get into the episode breakdown, I just want to give everybody the list of girls from the cycles that are in this so that people are not lost. We have Shannon Stewart. She was in cycle 1. We also have Ebony Hayth. She was in cycle 1 as well. Shandy Sullivan. She was cycle 2. Tiffany Richardson. She was cycle 4. Kenya Hill. Also cycle 4. Danielle Danny Evans. She was cycle 6. Joni. Cycle 6. Dionne Walter, cycle 8, and Whitney Thompson, cycle 10. So those are like all of the girls who are currently involved. And if I missed any girls, I'm sorry, but I feel like I got all of the girls. And with that, let's get into episode 1, right?
Yes.
What an episode. It brings us into the history of America's Next Top Model and kind of the behind the scenes of how it came about. They obviously are speaking a lot about Tyra, but it starts off immediately with the interaction between Tyra and Tiffany, Tiffany Richardson. And Tyra was yelling at her, obviously. You know, the most famous clip from America's Next Top Model outside of just the models winning is, we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
When my mother yells at me, it's like this is because she loves me.
Like, I mean, they start off right there.
Yes.
So you can see what we're about to consume.
Yes.
And obviously it goes into Tyra Banks coming in and talking about how people began to fall in love with Top Model again in 2020 once the pandemic happened. And people were streaming the show and kind of sitting in the house and reevaluating and also having some nostalgic moments because it's been a minute since we've watched the show.
Right.
Rewatched the show at least. And there was a playing field of people being like, oh my goodness, like, love it. Nostalgia. It feels so good to watch. However, the other side of that coin was there was a lot of criticism around the show, around production, around talent, around Tyra, around the danger that they put the girls in a sense, just for the sense of reality TV. So it was a split between the two in 2020. However, I don't think it was an even split. There was a lot more hate mail than there was Tyra mail.
Tyra mail.
There was a lot more hate mail than there was Tyra mail. Now it went into obviously Tyra's history as a model, how she started out as a black model, her having to fight, grind her way to the top, her feeling as though she wasn't considered to be the quote unquote prettiest, that she had to kind of fight for whatever she wanted in this industry. She very much brings up it was her and her mama and just like really grinding and trying to make it in this modeling world. And how hard it was for her, especially in the early 90s and being so young as well. She literally went to Paris and she was like, I'm just going to pound the pavement, go to all these agencies, do the work and become a model. And she did. And whenever she did, she mentioned that she wanted to create a show that was almost like the behind the scenes of what the modeling world is or was at that time. She had seen certain reality TV shows start to pop off, and she was like, okay, I see what they're doing over here with Real World. I see what we're doing over here with these other shows. I want to find a way to make it so that we can get a little bit behind the scenes of what actually happens in this modeling, what happens in this modeling world. So she does so. They hire Ken Mock, right? Yes.
Yes.
They met. She met with Ken Mock at the Standard Hotel. The same man who made Making the Band. And he sat with her. And in the meeting, he kind of was talking about how he didn't take the meeting very seriously. He said he got a call saying that Tyra Banks wanted to meet with him about something, about a show. And he was like, okay, it's just somebody who was all this vanity and, no brains.
He thought she was going to be stupid.
Yes.
Vapid,
Fully came in there with all the isms, shall we say?
Yeah.
Come in there with all the isms, and met with her. Now, after their meeting, he realized, okay, we might have a little something on our table. I can do something with this. I can work with this, We just need to have some kind of formula to it. Like, what are these girls going to do whenever they come on the show? What's their purpose on the show? Or is it to be a model? If so, they need to have lessons every single, episode that they're doing and learning more about the world and, building their repertoire and their portfolio. Like, they really wanted to make it something to where people can leave that show and know that they can get a job anywhere and become a model. You find out later on that's not the case. But
no.
Yes, they had 10 girls live in an apartment, and they wanted to have them display a new modeling skill each week. And at the end of each week, there will be an elimination. So when thinking about people who could help with developing the show, Tyra said her first call was to Miss J. As we know him. Miss J was amazing. Whenever I tell you,
yes,
Miss J, the runway coach, the man that taught Tyra to walk, who really is the bedrock of this show.
Yes.
There was no show without Miss J. And I mean, whenever I say, I also didn't know that Miss J was 6'5".
Oh, right. Yes.
Tyra said a 6'5" black, dark-skinned man,
beautiful
legs for days, who were teaching girls how to walk. Yes. So obviously, Tyra's first call was to Miss J. And Miss J was like, okay, like, I'm down to do it. I'm signing up. I've known you since you were a teenager. I taught you how to walk. I would love to be on a show where I then get to give that knowledge to other girls.
Right.
Next, we had Jay Manuel, who came into the picture, right? He was Tyra's makeup artist at the time.
Mr. J.
The Jays. And Jay Manuel said, he was Tyra's makeup artist. And she said, I want you to come on this show and be more than a makeup artist. I want you to creative direct. You have a great eye. Creative direct these shoots. Come up with some different ideas. Like, let's do this. It's very much get your friends together and let's make a show.
Yes.
Very much that.
Yes.
So with that, they had a little formula. And also, Ken was very happy with who Tyra picked, by the way. Ken was like, I had never seen someone like Miss J, and I had never seen someone like Jay Manuel. Like, I tell y'all, this was the glue for this show. So they thought. So they kind of put this pitch together. They're going to different networks, the big networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, you know the deal. They're going to all the major head honcho networks pitching this show to them. Reality TV, right? The moment they hear the word reality TV, yuck.
Yeah, they're like, oh no.
They don't want it. They said, keep that to the cable. We don't want this on a major network. We do network programming. We do scripted television. We do not do reality TV. Yeah. She was shocked by how many no's she got. Extremely shocked by how many no's she got. And, it got to a point where everybody felt like this show was not going to be something that really got picked up.
Yeah.
But they had one last stop. And that stop was at UPN.
Okay.
And Dawn Ostroff was the president of UPN at the time. And Dawn was so funny. Like, Dawn said, I know we were the last place they came to because wasn't nobody coming to knock on UPN's door for nothing.
Yeah.
And whenever asked, why Dawn decided to, pick up this show, Dawn said, we had nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah.
Literally, if it failed, great, whatever. But if it succeeded, then great. It would put us on the map. Mm-hmm. But they didn't really know. Nothing had ever been done like this before, but just something new. So they finally kind of got the show together. They picked the girls. They did the casting for all the girls. And they had one last really big meeting with Viacom, where they met with Les Moonves. Also,
You already know who husband that is,
you already know who husband that is, right?
And I'm Julie Chen Moonves.
And Tyra said, she went in that meeting and she pitched the mess out of that show, and they pretty much were ready to go. And Les was like, I think it's great. I think you have some good girls, but
Yes.
I do not think that this Latina girl,
Yeah.
that's what he said.
Yeah. Because they were having, Tyra's vision was diversity in models and skin color, ethnicity, size. And they already put a couple black girls. So diversity has been achieved, babes.
Had been met.
Okay.
But he wasn't having it. He was like, we're not putting this show out with, he said Latina.
Yes.
That's what he said. That's what Tyra said he said. Now, I don't know. I don't know, but from what I know, but you got to take everything Tyra say
With a little grain
of salt.
Right.
But, Ken Mock was there to definitely verify the story. And Ken Mock said, I saw Tyra blow up on Les Moonves. Went off, cussing, full blown, supermodel, diva, how dare you?
Yes.
And after she got the steam blown off, they had to go out and find another girl.
Right.
Yep.
And they did end up filming the spot with Gabriella.
Another Latina.
Which didn't make any sense, right?
Yes.
Now, when it comes to it was Giselle. It wasn't Gabriella, right?
It was Giselle.
Giselle, yes. They found Giselle. Mm-hmm. Then they kind of got to filming. They had these girls in an apartment. They had them put up small quarters, but manageable. And they kind of displayed their lives and their week-to-week basis of how this modeling thing would work. They had them on camera, fully vulnerable, being themselves very young.
Yes.
Girls are teenagers. Girls are in their early 20s or teenagers. Very, very, very young, impressionable women at the time. Although fully grown, consenting adult women, still young girls in an apartment, all living together. And then, drama happens, things happen. But one really big thing that happened and has happened in every cycle of Top Model is the makeover.
Oh, yes.
And
The cornerstone.
And two really big people who got makeovers, obviously, were Giselle, got a whole different hair color.
Yeah.
And Ebony had... Well, they were trying to do a bald fade on Ebony, but
Ebony already had a short, kind of bald thing going on, but a tuft of hair up at the top.
And Tyra wanted to get rid of that. We're gonna get rid of that. Tyra. Tyra. She said, we're gonna get rid of that tuft and we're beautiful, bald. Ebony said, okay, but then they went in and you see people on her head. 3 people, it looked like. Jesus. I didn't know if it was just one person and the other 2 making comments. But it was 3 people surrounding a tuft of hair, not knowing
what to do,
how to fade it out, how to cut it, what to do with it.
One of them even said, should I put my name in it?
Literally being talked about on camera, being filmed, and as they're actively taking that, and you have to just sit there.
What?
I mean, imagine the black woman hair.
Yes.
Sit there as they graze this damn...
They're using the wrong clippers. It's just all bad.
But they gave her 3 bald spots that she then had to go and fix herself.
Yes.
She felt like it was just unjust and not right and made something of it. She was like, y'all don't understand. I see that everybody done got their little haircuts and colors and styles. I had to go through trauma in that seat.
Right.
And that wasn't the only trauma Ebony went through.
It wasn't.
Because Ebony also happened to be queer. One of the only queer girls in the house that we know of, right?
Yeah.
That was documented. And Ebony also asked, the girls at the house, Can My Girlfriend Come Over? There was one girl who we saw who obviously was against it. Like, it just makes me uncomfortable that Ebony has her girlfriend here and displaying her, her affection for him. I won't stand for that. Very bad, right? But I will say that I do like how they portrayed Ebony's love with her girlfriend. It seems so genuine. And again, it's something that you didn't really see on reality TV often. And I think it really did help push the story forward in a positive light. Like Ebony even mentioned she was very happy with how her relationship was portrayed on camera. And there was really no other way to portray it than love, because they had love for each other in general. Then we have the introduction. There are so many things that happened.
So much happened.
In this first episode, specifically with Janice Dickinson, the introduction of Janice Dickinson, the Janice Dickinson, the first supermodel, like she likes to say.
Yep.
They added her to the show because she offered a harshness of the industry. Not like Tyra and all the Jays weren't already doing that, but they needed someone who was tougher, who was going to just say it plain how it was and not sugarcoat it. And that was Janice Dickinson.
Man.
And boy, was that a ride. They talked a lot about how there was a back and forth between Janice and Tyra.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Like, I remember watching this and being like, what is this girl lady's problem? Like,
what? She get a value?
I didn't know who she was when I was watching the show. So I said, I know who Tyra is, and now I know who the Jays are, but I don't know who Janice is.
Yeah.
I had to find, my first time meeting Janice Dickinson was through Top Model, So with that, whenever I found her attitude to be what it was like, Janice is just mean. And at the time, it was seen as mean, but it was also seen as comedy. Like, people were really mean back in the day.
Yeah.
Straight up.
They were.
And TV just was not the nicest, as we all know.
Yeah.
They talked a bit about one of the models, Shannon, and her experience, obviously, with having an eating disorder during the show, and also just having an eating disorder in life, and how it was kind of a thing that models need to be skinny. Models don't need to be eating much. Like, watch what you eat. Very much a controlled environment where you're surrounded by a whole bunch of girls. Y'all are in front of a camera multiple times a week, every single week. And watch 24/7. What you eat, what you do, how you act, where you are. Like, there is no break. They said that. They were like, we let the girls know ahead of time, you will be filmed 24/7. So get ready for that.
The only time they got to be alone is when they go into the bathroom by themselves. By themselves. The moment they went into a bathroom with someone else, it was up for grabs. They kind of talked a bit about, some of the girls too, talked a bit about how it was a change for them. When season 1 premiered, for them to see their faces everywhere, like, they didn't even know what the extent of the show would be. They just knew their lives were going to be changed whenever they saw their faces literally on the side of huge buildings. I mean, watching it in real, like watching it back and like seeing the woman now and then seeing who they were when they were there, I was like, that must have been a crazy experience to wake up one day and they'd be like, aren't you that girl from that poster over there? Am I? Let me go look at it. There was no call that was like, hey, so just so you know, we have marketing placements here and here and here. None of that. It was just, hey.
Surprise.
You walking down Sunset and you like, boom.
There I go.
There's me. Whole body.
I mean, it was set to be a show that was going to be huge and change these girls' lives forever. So they thought, they didn't know, before the show premiered, they really didn't know. But once it did, they realized very quickly, this is going to pick up. However, there weren't so many nice comments that were made about these girls, even in the first cycle. Giselle talked a lot about how Tyra told her she had a wide ass.
Yeah.
And I also looked at Giselle's ass and was like, where?
No, literally.
That's just so, because it's like back then,
that was wide.
That was a wide ass. And the viewers watching are agreeing, yes, you do got a wide ass. But now you're like, huh? That's just so
I'm just
crazy.
seeing BBLs up and down the street. That's a regular old booty.
Regular booty.
So weird.
But Giselle talked a lot about how Tyra talked a lot about it and how it made her feel some type of way. Especially whenever she heard her talking about it on and off camera.
Yep.
Yes.
It was like, you shouldn't be doing that. And even in the episode, Tyra was looking at one of Giselle's photos and she said, where's the self-esteem? You think After being on this show for however many weeks, I have much self-esteem left.
Yeah.
You've changed how I look. You've talked about how I look. You've changed, like, everything about me is not the same that it was whenever I walked into the building to be a part of this show.
Literally.
Yeah.
Things are different.
Yeah.
How you gonna ask me about where is my self-esteem? Where's your self-esteem? Look at the photo, right? I can't. Again, Ebony, we talked about them giving her 3 ball spots. Tyra called her ashy on the phone, y'all.
Oh my!
This
Whenever
is
I
after the bald spot incident.
Oh my goodness. Literally, she thought that she was going to get a call from Tyra that was basically kind of being a little bit more
Support.
my sister. I'm getting a call from my sister because they done messed up my hair and I'm mad about it. You know, she understands black hair. She's a black woman.
Right.
Like, let me get some advice from home. She calls her and literally tells Ebony, you know, you can be kind of ashy in your photos, and your skin, the texture of it requires a lot of retouching. And literally, like, tells her this stuff in her face and on the phone.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she just has to eat it up
Yeah.
and just keep it going.
She starts slathering oils all over herself after that.
She does. It was crazy.
For the rest of her time on the show, baby girl was drenching herself.
to the point where one of the girls was like, "Could you
Wipe down the handles.
Down the handles when you're
It's getting everywhere.
It's just a little oily. I mean, I don't know if it's like not sanitary or whatever, but I just feel like, you know, for safety.
Craziness.
What the fuck?
Craziness. But truthfulness. This is literally what was happening. This is all first cycle, right? First cycle. She also talked about how obviously she loved how her relationship was represented. But also she talked a bit about how young girls would come up to her after the show and tell her, I couldn't be a model. And that's crazy because she went on the show to be an inspiration to young girls, that people who look like me and you can be models.
Yeah.
To then the young girls seeing how she was constantly like battered and portrayed on the show, whether it was for her sexuality, whether it was for her hair, whether it's for her skin texture, whether it was for her being ashy. It didn't matter what it was. They saw the criticisms coming at her and they didn't feel like they could be a model. They felt the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Right.
They felt like,
She said that people would come up to her and not just say I couldn't be a model, but they were telling her, "Oh, I couldn't be a model because I have rough skin
Like
just
you."
like you." Like, ugh,
terrible.
Damn.
You know? And she's thinking that she's making a positive impact, and then she goes back and she watches the show and she's like, this is not what
I thought it was going
I thought it was going to be. This is definitely full-blown reality TV. And then at the end of episode 1, they introduce Shandy. And again, Shandy is from Cycle. Let me check. 2. Yeah, Shandy's from Cycle 2. And they talked to Shandy a bit about, like, you know, her experience and being on the show and how she came into the show, how she was this quirky girl
excited.
at Walgreens.
at Walgreens, just working, and kind of got discovered. And then they kind of end on a base of, you know, can we talk about what happened in Milan whenever you went to Milan? Mm-hmm. And she was like, okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. And it ended right there.
Yes.
And we kind of were sitting on edge and not knowing what to expect until the next episode. Because also, I remember it, but I didn't remember it vividly, right? Mm-hmm. So this show really helped me remember certain things vividly whenever it came to certain moments that they had on the show. And then it went to episode 2, which I'll pass to Nika.
Yes. Episode 2 starts off right where episode 1 ends, which is Shandy recounting the events that happened in Milan, Italy during cycle 2. And basically the girls had a challenge earlier in their day in Milan, and they were posing with Italian men on like mopeds and stuff, like, just, you know, this is the photo shoot in Milan, blah blah blah. So they go throughout their day, and now it's like later in the day, and they're told, hey, like, you want to hang out with those guys that you guys did the photo shoot earlier? Like, and they're like, oh, okay. Like, they agree. And they do that. And the guys, they come, they're having fun. they're in the hot tub and everything, and all of this is
drinking.
And they
all
haven't
this
had
is
a
being
morsel
recorded.
of food to eat. These
Yeah,
models
they haven't
are
had
literally
food 'cause
having.
They've been shooting all day, and then now they're doing this, and what they're doing is drinking. They're drinking, then the hot tub. They're drinking. They're laughing. They're chilling. They're having fun. Everything is being recorded.
And Shandy has a boyfriend. Just so we're
Yeah,
clear, let's
Shandy
start off
has a
there.
boyfriend.
Shandy has a whole
has a
boyfriend that she
boyfriend.
talked about. You know, she was like, I had a boyfriend.
She literally carried pictures with him throughout the
They're
the
on her
cycle.
nightstand.
Yeah.
Yes. So she's recounting her experience, and she's just saying how she was like, yeah, we've been shooting, hadn't eaten anything, was drinking, and we were just with these guys. And she was like, I don't remember much. She's like, I just remember I was in the hot tub at one point, and then we were somewhere else, and then I was in the shower, and then we were in the bedroom, and I'm pretty sure sex happened. Like, I felt it, but she doesn't remember any of it. And we see Shandy, like, in the Top Model video, they're showing her the next day, like, after all this, and she's waking up just like, and she's breaking down. She's crying. She's just like, oh my God, like, I fucked up so bad. Like, oh my God, this is terrible. I gotta call him. She wants to call her boyfriend and talk to him. And it's just really bad because
it's so sad.
It's like something that is so personal that you're just like, I mean, even she, when she's recounting, she's like, why are we showing this? Why are we showing this? So she's breaking down. Everybody's trying to cheer her up and everything. And you see her in the confessional on the show basically saying, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I just want to go home after this. Like, she just couldn't handle it anymore. And in the present day, someone, like, for the documentary basically asked her, do you think that production should have stepped in at any point? And she basically says, yes, after we left the hot tub, like, when people left the hot tub and people were, like, kind of all over the place, they should have just been like, okay, like, that's enough, like, you know, stop there. But they didn't stop it. And everything just...
They recorded everything. Everything. They recorded her in the hot tub. They recorded her in the shower. They recorded her in the bed. They recorded every last bit of it. As long as she was with somebody, she was free reign and free bait. And they saw that she was completely and utterly, totally drunk.
Blacked
I mean,
out.
talking about sitting in the shower.
Yeah.
Like, literally can't even fully stand up in the shower. Like, they know that she's pissy drunk, blacked out, basically. And they're just still recording. No one has stepped in. No one has said
done
anything.
And Tyra is asked, do you remember the story? Do you remember Shandy's story? And she's basically like, I remember her story, but I don't really, you know, I'm not production, so that's Ken, blah, blah, blah.
Deflect. Immediately. Ultimate defector.
And Jay says that him and Miss J got word because they were off. They weren't working. So they got word that Shandy was having sex in the shower. And they were just like, huh? Like, what? What the fuck?
And so interesting I think it's so interesting that's the word they got.
Yeah.
Like, you got word that Shandy, you didn't get word of, hey, Shandy's really drunk and like she's not okay and there's a guy in there. Like, you got word of, oh, Shandy having sex in the shower. It was one of those, you know, water cooler topics that they wanted to talk about, and it was like, this ain't it. It was not, you know, whenever, because I mean, if someone were to come up to me, if I was working on the show and tell me that one of the talent was having sex with somebody, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think twice about it because you're grown, you're an adult, like, literally, you know where you know, but
you're not thinking anything.
They didn't have
else.
all the pieces at the time.
Right. Exactly. After the event, and Shandy's a little more calm, like I want to say like a couple days later, Tyra has all the girls and she's like having a girl talk with him and conveniently is talking about cheating. And she's just like, oh yeah, I have this guy and he cheated on me and, you know, oh Shandy, what's wrong? Are you okay? And
that was just so whack.
Shandy's like, no, I'm not okay. She's, oh Shandy, everybody's messed up.
We've all done it before.
But I think we have to fight against our carnal desires.
And they're outside, like, I'm fully blown.
At a cafe.
Just talking, and randomly Tyra just like, and cheating. Ooh, what about that? How y'all feel about that? Huh? Shandy? Like, you knew what was happening, and Shandy was excited to also get out the house.
Yeah.
And go somewhere. She's like, I need to get my mind off,
get a
breathe.
breather.
Didn't even know that this was a setup.
A
complete
like
and utter
Tyra.
setup.
So Shandy is basically like, I want to go home. I don't want to be here. I can't do this anymore. I want to call my boyfriend. I need to talk to him. All the things. And she's told no multiple times. She wants to go home. No. She wants to call her boyfriend. No. Just no. They're not letting her do anything. So finally she's like, oh my God, like, I just want to go. I just want to leave. And they're like, no. And then they're like, okay. Fine. You can call your boyfriend. But we got to film it. Sorry. Got to film it. What?
Yep.
Gotta film her calling her boyfriend to let him know that she cheated on him.
Yeah.
We must film it.
And it's so heartbreaking. She's calling him, and you can hear him on the line. And he's like, just tell him, like, what's going on? And she's like, just think of the worst possible thing that you can do. And he was like, you had sex? Sex? Oh my God. He calls her a stupid bitch.
He does.
And he says, I can't be with somebody that cheated on me. What? It's just so sad. She's breaking down. She's like knelt down, like behind a
Basically
fence.
almost on the floor.
Camera crew is all up on her, and she's like, I'm breaking down. The cameras are all in my face. I'm trying to be like as away as I can, but I can't because they have to film it. And she's just going through it.
Yeah.
That happened, and then like when they sent her to the doctor, they filmed that. They filmed when she called the Italian guy back to ask him if he wore a condom, if he had any STDs. Why are we filming this? It was just so
Was
part of that
eerie.
storyline.
It was eerie.
so bad.
It was eerie.
And all that Ken Mock and Tyra had to say about this particular situation was that, well, we didn't film everything. It was really scaled back.
They said they didn't show,
everything. Yeah.
They said it was really scaled
We
back.
left a lot on the cutting room floor. You didn't leave enough. You could have just left it all. You didn't have to show her in the hot tub. You didn't have to show her in the shower.
Right.
You didn't have to show any. You didn't have to show her in the bed. But you didn't have to do any of it. You chose to keep it because it was a story.
Yeah.
Y'all ran with it.
And after the infamous Janet and Justin Timberlake Super Bowl, they were cracking down on regulations, and they were like scrambling, and they re-edited the episode.
Which makes me wonder what the original edit looked like.
Yeah,
honestly,
because that was already.
I really wonder what that original edit was.
The edit that they re-edited was still showing so much. So
Still
it's
a
like,
lot, yeah.
what did you take out? And then after this situation, they start talking about how people that was like so infamous, and people were just like, whoa, they're having sex, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was just such a big thing. And I mean, it just took off. It kept taking off. They were growing all over the world. There were different top model shows.
Franchises everywhere.
Yeah.
They ramped it up to 2 cycles a season every year.
The budget got big.
The budget got bigger.
big.
So
did.
So big. Smize became a thing, right? Smiling with your eyes. And then they had a casting at the Macy's in NYC, and it got buck wild because everybody wanted a chance to be on this fucking show, and it was just crazy. And they felt the pressure from all of this, from it growing, and they were just like, what do we got to do next? What do we got to do next? So you got, you're like, what do we got to do next to get that wow factor? That's where all those crazy photo shoots start coming in, wearing flash, dressing like animals, posing with pigeons and bugs, the homeless photo shoot.
These are certain things that I also just didn't remember.
I do.
The homeless one, I said, oh my God, wow, they did that, didn't they?
They
Whoa,
did.
wow.
And they posed with unhoused people.
Yes, they did.
Man, make it look glamorous. Huh? What?
Like
Diabolical.
what?
Terrible.
Homeless chic.
Homeless chic.
So now we get to, Danny Evans from Cycle 6. And she's talking about growing up in Little Rock, Arkansas, and she was thinking about becoming a model. She was like, okay, that was cool. And her brother was like, you should go on America's Next Top Model. And she was like, oh, no. Like, I'm not doing that, basically. Mm-hmm. But she did. She went, and she made it on to America's Next Top Model. Her and Joni were on the same cycle, Joni Sprague. And, of course, like the other stories that we told, it's always good in the beginning.
Until it's not.
Danny was excited. She's like, oh, she called my name. She's excited. Joni was excited. They were both on the same cycle, like I said. Danny is talking about how she was using this opportunity to get out of her small town of Little Rock. How she was basically like, this is my ticket. I'm going to get out of here. And she did. She got out of there. She made it onto the season and
won that hoe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She went into the season, and as you're seeing her go through the season, you see that the one thing that is talked about is her gap. Mm-hmm. Her gap in her teeth. Mm-hmm. One day after a challenge, the girls are told, all right, it's that makeover time. We're going to go to the fucking dentist.
First of all, to go from makeover to
surgical work.
We're literally, like they're talking about it's their first time having to actually go and do something surgically to somebody versus
makeup.
Just a regular hair and makeup situation.
Yeah.
Crazy. Just a mess. So Danny goes to the dentist and she's supposed to get her gap fixed. And she's telling the dentist, like, this is staying. Like,
the gap is staying, sucker.
Right. She said that I'm keeping my gap. It's my signature gap. It's a part of who I am. Joni is told, we're going to fix that snaggletooth, girl.
And whoa, did they fix the snaggletooth? So
seeing them teeth come out her mouth, tooth for tooth, for tooth for tooth.
And
whoa, tooth for tooth.
That was scary. Mm-hmm. So Danny, she doesn't get the procedure, right? So Joni does because she's excited to get this done. She's like, I've had messed up teeth and I never thought that I'd have the opportunity to fix it. So now I have this opportunity and they're just going to do it for me. I just got to sign the waiver. And she went and she was in there for hours.
Watching the time lapse was crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being in a dentist chair for that long.
I could not imagine. I couldn't fathom.
Seriously.
But you see her in the chair in pain, getting her teeth pulled out one by one.
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
Disgusting.
I couldn't do it. It was so nasty. And then you see her like present day. She has a folder and she's like, oh, look, I still have them. My 4 little teeth that came out. Mm-hmm. And she's like, it was so painful. She said the next photo shoot that they had, like they had to be crying. She was like, oh, I can do this. It's so easy. I really am in pain.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, you're in pain.
Like, oh, I feel it. But she was really in pain. And she said that the orthodontic issues didn't stop. Like she just always had issues with her teeth after that because nothing was ever resolved. It was just worsened.
Yikes.
I feel bad for Joni. But Joni did say, like, she said, like, I was an adult and I made the decision to do it, but I just didn't. I mean, who would think that it would just go that bad?
Free dental work. I'm taking that.
Right? No, literally. Do you know how
you gonna fix my smile? Oh, baby, I'd be up in that chair ready.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to go.
Immediately. Mm-hmm. Not even thinking about the repercussions of like, who is this dentist? What is the work that they've done previously? Like, none of that.
You just hear free dental work and you jumped at the chair.
And at that age, too, you're not even thinking about, the last thing in your mind is insurance, is anything else. You gonna do this for free?
No, you're gonna do it.
Yeah, these girls are 18, 19, 20, 21.
They're not thinking about none of that. None of the important stuff.
Yeah.
So it's time for this cycle. It's time for to cut a girl, and basically during this time, Tyra is telling Danny, "So you went to the dentist, but you didn't get that gap closed. That's so crazy. About that gap. Mm-hmm. Do you really think that you can have a CoverGirl contract with a gap?" And she was like, like doing that.
Oh, I mean, she is a character, y'all.
Always has been.
Always has been.
So Danny is just like, well, like, I like my Gap. I love my Gap. It's who I am. Like, I want to keep it. And Tyra's like, you think that you can stay here, like, with that, basically, in your mouth? Basically kind of giving her an ultimatum, like, if you keep that Gap, bye.
Mm-hmm.
And they made a joke about it, like, I guess you're leaving a Gap open for the next girl to come in.
Yes.
Tongue in cheek, right?
Oh my God.
Tongue in cheek, right?
So Danny is just like, oh, fuck, like, I want to be, she's like, I don't want to go back home. I don't want to go home. Like, I got so far, basically.
Yeah.
So she's just like, okay, I need to go call my mom. She's my voice of reason. And her mom is like, well, I mean, you know, you can come back here. Like, I'm not going to be mad if you come back here. But if you want to be there, then you could be there. But, you know
what you have to do to be there.
You know what you have to do to be there. And if that's what you're going to do, then that's what you're going to do. But you know you can come home. Mm-hmm. She ends up going through with getting her Gap filled in.
Yes. I remember watching that as it was happening. And I was like, no, I was so sad she was closing it because I loved her Gap.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. And Nigel chimes on this and basically says, I didn't agree with this, but I didn't have a say. But I thought that she looked great with the Gap.
I think she did too.
Mm-hmm.
And
she has been captivating y'all for however many weeks now. It's okay.
And now
My
all
Gap
of a
is
sudden
fine.
during the
Thank
makeover,
you.
gotta
Yeah.
get this Gap filled in.
No,
fuck?
not doing it.
And then it's mentioned that in a later season, literally like 9 cycles later, that a girl gets her Gap widened.
Yes.
I'm gonna exaggerate that. Give it more.
Yeah, I want to bring it in.
What?
Yeah.
Are you encouraging someone to get their Gap going? But the difference is they're not black.
Right.
Oh,
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
Big difference.
Yeah, that was the difference.
And Tyra basically says that she apologized to Danny and boo boo, sorry.
You can apologize, but my Gap still filled in and I still had to go through that psychological warfare.
My goodness. Now we get to Dion Walters from Cycle 8. We're at the Alexandria Hotel, and this is when they're doing the crime scene, like victim model shoot.
Hated this shoot.
Me
I couldn't
too.
believe it when they were doing it. Oh.
And in the shoot, basically, the girls are playing dead, basically. They got the blood on them. They kind of like, some of them are like ripped open a little. Like, it's very uncomfortable and not good.
Violent.
Yeah.
Literally
Very
violent.
violent.
They have
Super
girls falling
violent.
from buildings.
Yeah.
They have a lot.
They were literally telling the girls, oh, yeah, I love how her ankle's like that because it looks broken. Like, sick shit. And Dion was in the shoot, and she was supposed to look like a victim that was shot in the head. And the entire shoot is fucked up, right? You're like, this is fucked. But let me tell you what's really fucked. This girl, Dion, her mom was paralyzed by a jealous ex. She's paralyzed from the waist down because a jealous ex found out that she was with somebody else and was going to be with somebody else and shot her and paralyzed her for life.
Yep.
And you had this girl do a photo shoot, and she was supposed to be a gunshot victim.
And they knew all
And they
about
knew it.
that.
They
And
played
they
off
knew
of
it.
it. They played off it. She said they came in knowing that about me.
Yeah,
they
it's in her
chose to
file.
put me there actively, and they know why. They said, "Oh, we got to give her the girl who got shot because then she's going to really feel it. She's going to really go into
Yeah.
it." Like,
We want a big blow up. You know, they wanted a blow up.
Something.
and she
didn't
knew it.
give
She
to
said,
them.
"I'm not going to give them that. I'm going to come here, do my job, and
Right.
continue.
Yep.
You know, you're not going to get that from me because I saw it happening to other people, and it wasn't
Right.
going to happen to me."
Yep.
So I'm glad she didn't give them what it appears that they wanted. And Nigel and Ken and the others are basically asked about some of these outrageous shoots. And Nigel is like, looking back, he does think that some of the shoots were bad, but during the time, he just felt like, you know, it was the times. It was what we were doing. People wanted more. It's what you guys asked for. We were doing more. And Ken took full responsibility for that specific shoot, for the crime scene shoot.
Yes.
And now we get to another crazy ass shoot, one that a lot of us have probably seen, the race swapping.
Oh, baby. Infamous.
Infamous race swap. How can we forget? You're white. You're going to be black today.
It's black. It's white. It's time for you to be gay.
Tyra was probably like, I was inspired by the Michael Jackson music video. I was in it.
Remember
that?
And I said, we got a race swap. And also, I think it's important to note that as the seasons went on, Jay Manuel was very clear that there was a piece where he was definitely driving the creative for the photo shoots. But once they got really successful, there were a lot more cooks in the kitchen, and he really didn't have as much of a say in what was going on.
Yes. And that's when all the spiraling,
outrageous shit.
Started happening. Like race swapping.
Like race swapping. The violence ones. The ones that they literally did about eating disorders.
Yes. Terrible.
Yeah.
Jay basically says that this was one of the most difficult shoots that he was dealing with because they were in black and brown face, and he's like, my parents grew up like I'm in South Africa during apartheid, like I know the history, like it was just really fucked up to him. And on top of that, they're posing with 3-year-old children.
When they brought the kids in, I said, yep, I remember that.
From different races, racial backgrounds, and they're posing with...
Like race swapping wasn't hard enough. Let's just throw a 3-year-old in there.
Throw a 3-year-old in there, because that's
who is the actual race? Huh?
Mind you, it was this specific shoot was all for a Got Milk campaign.
Yes. What the fuck?
And Jay also asked to not be head of that shoot on multiple occasions. He wanted to be excused from it.
But they were like,
well, just introduce it.
Yeah, it's okay. Just introduce it and, we'll do all this, blah, blah, blah. But either way, it was going to happen and the show was going to go on and he had a job to do. Mm-hmm. And when Tyra is talking about this, she's like, I didn't think it was controversial.
At the time, I didn't.
No, at the time, no.
Now, of course,
but
yes,
now,
I know.
100%. I know.
At the time, it was also controversial.
It was.
Like, I remember it being controversial as I saw them blackface and a white girl.
Yes.
That didn't make no sense to me.
No.
That made headlines. Okay, I used to be an avid magazine reader. I remember the headlines.
Yes.
Like, what the are they doing on this show? Race swapping?
It was terrible. And for you to be like, well, I was just trying to showcase how beautiful black and brown skin could be. And it's like, well, you had actual people with actual black and brown skin. Why not just actually showcase those actual people?
Yeah, hello.
And the thing about the race swapping thing is that Tyra says she didn't think it was controversial. And then they did it again.
Literally, like, what?
9 cycles later, they did it
again.
Fucking again.
But this time, more diverse. You're
Native American.
Tibetan.
What?
They are mixing. They said, you are going to be Egyptian and East Asian. You are going to be African and French. What the fuck is going on?
They're coming up with ideas out of their ass to try to figure out how can we make more headlines. That's literally all that is.
Yeah.
That's something. The show was slipping shit. Let's find something to get people to talk about it again.
Your wig is slipping.
Seriously.
Show was slipping. It's all slipping.
My goodness.
All slipping. Now we get to Kenya Hill from Cycle 4. Kenya. Beautiful.
She was very beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Still is. Gorgeous.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
Love seeing her on my TV screen again.
So during her cycle, she is constantly, and I mean constantly, picked apart and made fun of for her weight and how big she appears to the judges and everyone else. And she is confused by this because all her life, she has only been picked apart and made fun of for being really thin. So coming into this environment and being picked apart for the opposite, she's a little confused.
Yeah, what the hell? Huh?
I didn't think I was big.
Yeah.
Y'all telling me I need to be smaller than what I already am?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she wasn't small enough, apparently. And they kept poking fun, and it was apparent when it came to photo shoots. They had a 7 deadly sins photo shoot.
One of my favorites. Ooh, hate to say it.
And her sin was gluttony, and she's surrounded by all this food. And when they get to like talking about the photos, Tyra is basically telling her, I wish I could see that donut hanging out of your mouth a little bit. A little,
You know, I mean, get more into it.
yeah. You're not really in it like you should be. It's crazy.
What?
What? In another shoot, they're in Africa, and they have to be different animals that you can find on a safari, right?
Yes.
And what do they make Kenya? A giraffe for her beautiful neck and her long legs? No! An elephant.
And I just was sitting there like, how are we going to turn this little small into an elephant?
They taped them ears on her ears, them big ass.
Y'all,
What the fuck?
My God.
I was watching this and I said, gosh, it's really taking me back.
Man.
I was in it.
Man.
Oh my God. Craziness. Kenya is told that they had to do so much retouching on her photos, and that if she's going to turn to the side, she's got to hide her gut.
Ugh.
It doesn't need to be exposed. She needs to lose weight, and everybody's judging her eating, and you just hear multiple comments. Oh, she's getting bigger. She's getting so fat. My God. And there's this edit that they do of her eating one bagel. It's the same bagel, but they're editing it to make it seem like she's eaten 5 bagels.
Yes.
And you even see one of the girls look at her like, oh my God. And they're and the other girls are in the confessionals like, you know,
Yeah,
the
she's
judges,
gotta lose weight.
Yeah, she's got to lose the weight. The judges told her, but she's just not
Keeps
changing
on
her
eating.
Yeah, she's not changing her eating habits.
She's healthy.
Ay, ay, ay. Mind you, these girls are like 115 pounds.
Literally. They're so small.
So tiny. So it's down to the last 4 girls in this cycle for Kenya, and they're in South Africa. And she's like, I feel like maybe I can win this thing. She's feeling really, really good. They're supposed to be posing with these models, and they're supposed to be dancing on these male models are supposed to be like dancing like around that, and she's supposed to pose and dance a little bit and look all sexy. Mm-hmm. And one of the models keeps touching her and asking for her number and just is making her uncomfortable. And she's like, I don't like this. She's like basically like, I don't have a phone, or I gotta go into the photo shoot after this. Like, I can't talk right now, blah, blah, blah. Just trying to brush him off any way she can without making a scene. And while they're shooting and stuff, dancing, and he's like really like feeling on her and stuff, and even starts moaning to where she's like, what would Tyra do in this situation? She would stop the shoot. So that's what she did. She stopped the shoot. She let it be known that she was uncomfortable and that she didn't like the moaning or the touching on her, and she was just uncomfortable. She didn't like it. Mm-hmm. And they didn't like that she stopped the shoot.
You're wasting the money and the resources and the people, and just get up there and do your job.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
You have to just, this is modeling. You have to rock with it.
Yeah.
What? This man is literally has his whole junk up on me.
He's wearing a piece of cloth. Like what? He's not
fully
covered.
touching me, grabbing my legs, and I'm trying to set boundaries, and no one's supporting me on set. I feel like, whoa, super overexposed, very vulnerable, and not safe at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Not safe. So she stopped the shoot and she let it be known. And she said she felt like a line was crossed. And when they're, discussing, okay, this was your best shot.
Yeah, when they're judging.
They were judging them and looking, and they pulled out Kenya's best shot, and they're like, it was almost good, but not quite. And she's basically like, well, I just want to say that I was uncomfortable during the shoot. So it's kind of hard for me to, get into it because I was uncomfortable. And I let it be known that I was comfortable. And Tyra basically tells her, well, you just need to do it in a fun way, in a playful way. Just be like, no, don't do that, sir. No. We got to do the shoot.
Now, you know better. I'm not about to give you my number. Okay, well, we going to do our job. No, people can't. Not everybody's Tyra.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Tyra. Some people actually cannot laugh off when someone's groping them and
Literally,
moaning in their ears. They don't just be like, ha, you funny. No, this is not professional or acceptable.
Yeah, it's not okay. And Tyler's basically like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, boo-boo. Kenya, I'll say sorry, boo-boo. We didn't know. Production didn't know. We didn't know.
Don't know how we didn't know whenever I said it, but okay.
Don't know how we didn't know.
Yeah.
Now they go into talking about how during the time, because Kenya is constantly told that she's fat, right? And how she needs to lose weight. And Tyra is just explaining how back then the beauty standards were, you had to be thin. You had to be thin, 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 thin. You just had to be thin.
Which is true.
Which is true.
That's true.
It's true. Mm-hmm. And even the clip of when Tyra is talked about is shown, to which Zakiya, who is one of the commentators on all this, is like, I just found it so funny how she was picked apart for that, and then she didn't like it, but she still was picking apart.
She did the picking.
Right. She was still picking apart so many other people.
Bullied people bully.
Yeah.
That's that they do.
Honestly.
Yeah. And then we get to Whitney Thompson from Cycle 10. Beautiful, beautiful girl. So when she gets on there, she says, I'm representing a regular woman. You know? No BBLs. Not super, super duper skinny. She was coming on and she was like, I'm here, I'm me, and I'm not changing it, which I loved because she didn't give
I loved Whitney.
Yeah.
I think it's also so crazy how there was a different reaction to Whitney simply because she was white.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really big thing.
That is
It seems like you can see a constant trend in this of Tyra kind of picking on the black girls, but then when the white girls had something quirky or different, oh yeah, girl, use that.
Yeah, she's got something I like.
Very interesting.
Yes, especially as
Suspicious.
the cycles go on, because Kenya was, what was she, cycle?
Kenya was cycle 4.
4, and then cycle 10. It's a whole different. Now they want a size 6 at that time, which was plus size.
Yep.
Wild.
My God. But that was where Whitney was.
That's where Whitney
And at
was.
any other point, they would have told her, get your fat ass.
No, literally, they would have told her to walk
Pack it up.
on by.
Pick it up. But now they liked it. You know, it made way for. I don't remember if Takara came before Whitney or Whitney
It was before.
Yeah, Takara was
Right.
before
Which is
Whitney.
why Whitney
Yeah.
felt like,
Yeah,
I
that's
can
right.
do this. Takara was on this. I can do this. So she's constantly told that with her size, she won't be able to do runway because runway size is a size 2, and they're not about to change anything for you size 6 bitch.
Yes.
Literally. That.
Basically.
So every time she would go to fittings, she's told, well, it's a size 2. Like, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do about it. And they're cutting open the backs of all these outfits and then clamping it together in the back.
It's crazy.
What the fuck?
They could have just made bigger clothes.
They could
Literally.
have just went
refused
and
to.
got bigger clothes.
And she said
They
that.
already know her
Yeah.
sizes. They already
You
know.
already know.
It was for a dramatic effect, literally.
Yes.
It was like, it's not like we're in some desolate random city where you can't find
Right.
clothes. We're in,
It's not impossible.
like, come on, y'all.
It
Go
was just
outside.
TV.
Go get them.
Right. Go get them.
It's not impossible. It's just
Yeah.
y'all knew what y'all were doing, once again.
Yeah.
Actively trying to place some kind of discourse.
Yes.
Yes. It was just really crazy. And Whitney won that shit.
Did. Won the
She
season.
did.
She won that
Deserved it.
shit. Deserved it. And she was able to go on and be like the first plus size model for multiple people. Multiple people. Which is like, whoa.
And also, she's a white woman.
Yeah.
Point blank
She's
period.
a white woman.
She was able to do that.
She was able to.
I think if Whitney was black, it'd been a whole different discussion. So, race plays a really big
Yes, it does.
factor in this, and in assessing and taking apart and picking apart all of this and analyzing. Race plays a really big factor in this.
Definitely. We get to the end of this episode, and it's Jay talking about how there was a shift that happened in the show that he wasn't necessarily vibing with, and he was just like, it just felt like they were trying to find something to do, like, because they kept having to one-up themselves, right?
Yeah.
Everything had to be a wow factor. What else can we put on TV? Blah, blah, blah. And he basically says, I'm looking around me and looking at all this, and that's when I'm telling myself, okay, I'm ready to tell Tyra that I want to leave the show. And that was how the episode ended. Wow.
Yeah. So then we slide on into the last part, episode 3 of this good little three-part documentary. Okay, and we start with the infamous beef, the argument between Tiffany and Tyra. Learn something from this. When my mother yells at me like this, is because she loves me, right? That's where we're starting. So if you don't remember like Tiffany's story, what happened with Tiffany is the cycle prior, she actually was chosen to be on the show, but there was a bar altercation that happened where she got into a fight, threw drinks on people and all that. And of course they said, baby girl,
you can't be on this. You are a liability.
You cannot be on this show doing that. You need to leave. But production and Tyra and everyone, they really liked Tiffany, and they really felt like if she's on this show, I really think she could win it. She could be a winner, truly. So instead of just letting Tiffany go back to her hometown, they were like, girl, we want to help you out. We are going to send you to anger management classes, and we want to really get you some help, get you some therapy, and then hopefully you can come back next cycle in a better headspace and we can move forward. So that's what happens. Tiffany comes back that next cycle. She's like, hey, y'all, I'm back. And they're like, oh, my God, we're so happy. And, of course, she gets picked again to be on this season. So when we get to where the argument comes from and how this moment boils down, basically they always had like a competition where the girls would be given a prompt where that they would have to read through and of course say their lines on camera and do like a whole little commercial basically. But in this instance, there was a prompt that they gave the girls to read while inside of like the judging area. They just put it up on the prompter. It was like, okay, read this and then we'll go from there. So Tiffany is trying to read the prompt and she's struggling while she's reading it because, I mean, they have names of French designers and all this stuff that the girls don't really know all throughout here that they have to read. And, they don't really know how to pronounce them. So Tiffany is a little frustrated and she starts saying like, she kind of stops her reading and she's like, I can't do this. I can't read this. And Tyra's like, come on. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. The other girls stood in the same spot. They read the same thing. They didn't all say the right words either. You can do it. Try again. So Tiffany tries to start reading again and she just gets more frustrated with herself because she's stumbling over words. She's not pronouncing things correctly. And she's just like, you know what? I'm not doing this. I can't read this. I can't read this. And she literally just walks on up out of there. So this results in something that had never been done before in America's Next Top Model history. Like we said, every week, they do an elimination, the way it would go. Tyra flips over your picture and that's how you moved on to make it to the next week. And at this point, it is Tiffany and homegirl. I forget her name. They were the bottom two for that week. They come up to the front and Tyra does something that has never been done before. Baby flips over
a blank
picture
page.
card and it's blank.
A blank page.
It's a blank page. There's nothing there. So everybody's kind of like, what the hell does this mean? This means double elimination. Both of the girls are going home and Tyra tells them, pack your bags. Both of y'all's time here on this show is over. So the other girl is crying. She's in tears, right? She can't believe this opportunity is coming to an end. Meanwhile, Tiffany, this is her second time coming back around. She had been there a few weeks and, she wasn't really trying to show too much emotion. She had her second chance and it didn't work out, right? So she's going over to the girls. The girls are crying for her. She's like, oh, girl, don't be crying over me. It's going to be okay. It's all right. It's okay. And she's giving the people hugs and it's like, I'll see y'all later, basically, right? Tyra is upset at this She feels like Tiffany is not taking this seriously, that she isn't taking the fact that this opportunity is now gone from her hands, like, serious enough. So before the girls can leave, she says, Tiffany, hold on. I got something I want to say to you.
And brought them both back, by the way. Didn't even say Tiffany. Literally was like, I need y'all to come stand here real quick just to sit here and yell at me.
Like, what?
You are acting like this doesn't mean anything to you. You're acting like you've already done this before and you don't care. And, you know, like, do you want to go back to your hometown and just be working your little job and this and that, and blah, 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 blah. She's going off. And Tiffany is telling her, like, I do care. This does mean something to me. It does matter to me. And I am upset, but I don't want to cry. I'm tired of crying over things just not going my way. You know, this is just another thing that didn't work out for me. I just want to move on. And of course, that's how we get to the whole argument. Learn something from this.
And we're some cycles in. So obviously people are able to really, like, they've watched the show. They understand kind of like how things are edited. And I'm sure Tiffany was very much like, I know exactly how they're going to make this feel like the only black girl can't read these words, because they could have definitely cut that up and been like, found words that everybody said correctly and then go to Tiffany and like, gave her like 5 bad words.
Yeah.
Like, you know when you being set up. And I think she knew. Yeah. She knew she was being set up. Even though she knew other girls were messing up, it's like, yeah, the other girls are messing up. Are they going to show the other girls really messing up? Or are they going to only show me mainly messing up? Like, you know, you're really worried about
perception,
your image in this show.
Yep. I think that was very valid concern for sure. Yeah. If that was her concern, I wish she was on this documentary, but she had some words to say on social media.
I did see that.
Yeah,
I did see that.
She went off.
Oh yes, no, I have it right here.
Oh, perfect.
The screenshot.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Tiffany was on social media, and Tiffany said, "Hold up, Tyra Banks. Let's keep it cute. You are one lying ass, tired ass bitch. You know how you treated me the whole time, off and on camera. You was a bully. You treated me like shit and said the nastiest things about me and my son. That's not how the argument went, but y'all edited it to make it look like you cared.
Master editor.
Also, fuck the shade room. Fuck your weird ass friends. Fuck you, Tyra Banks. I bet you won't sit down with me face to face and talk about it. Also, y'all hold up. Fuck my family too.
She said, fuck my family.
Y'all
too.
don't ever defend me. I got more money and helping more people than all of many of the top models. That's updated. That's the update that y'all give. Damn shame. It's giving y'all still hating on little black ass me. Tyra Banks, ho, just let it go. It's been over 20 years. Fuck.
Yeah.
Tiffany was mad.
Tiffany was pissed. She was mad. And then in the episode, they're saying how after this argument, like they were saying, like it got nasty. It got it, and it was long. It was long winded, and that after the argument and after the girls were taken off the set, that Tyra herself had to be taken off of the set because she was hot. Okay, they had to take her off set, and then lawyers were present next week.
Like what? What was said?
What was said? What was said? We shall never know, because a lot of that was edited out, like Tiffany said in her post, and also like they said in the show. And Mr. J said he will never repeat what Tyra said out of her mouth on that day. He gonna let that be on the cutting room floor where it need to be. He never wants to revisit that.
Right, because how was it so... What was it?
I would love
sit
to know.
with us. We won't even record it. We just want to know it.
I know.
And we won't tell anybody.
I really would. I really wouldn't. But,
come have a seat. Talk to us. No cameras, no mics, just us and some tea.
So from here, Mr. J basically says that the show went from being like behind the scenes modeling to just a whole new thing, and that it was really starting to like chip away at his soul, and basically it resulted in him wanting to leave. Like we talked about, there were like the photo shoots of strung out, drugged out models and eating disorders and physical violence, gun violence, just so much started to change in the show. And not only did Mr. J notice it, but of course viewers were starting to notice that shit as well. Like, okay, it was fun, but now it's starting to get a little weird. You know what I'm saying? So then from there, Mr. J talks about how him and Tyra made a pact in cycle 3 or cycle 4 where they came to each other, and this is when they're still buddy good friends, besties for the resties, homies, and they tell each other, we promise any important matters that have to do with each other and with this show, we are going to come to each other first and tell each other about what's going on. We don't want, like the big wigs all up in our business. This is because we are good friends. Let's talk to each other. So because J. Manuel was starting to feel very, soulless at this point working for the show, he decides, I think it's my time to leave. So he sends Tyra an email telling him about his decision, paragraphs full, telling her everything about the way he feels and why he's making this decision. He then says 3 days go by. 3 whole days go by. 0 response from who's supposed to be your bestie. She says nothing until she finally reaches out via email again. She says 3 words. I am disappointed.
Period.
Wow.
Period. That's all the email said back. And then after that email, all communication between them stopped. All of it. So to, just kind of clear his mind just a little bit, damn. Jay goes off and he takes a vacation, a little 1-week vacation in the islands. And while he's there, he gets an emergency message from Business Affairs over at America's Next Top Model. And they tell him, hey, we heard you want to leave, but there's just like some stuff going on. There's like stuff like contracts and terms and leases and agreements. There's just a lot going on. Can you just come back and just do 1 more cycle? That's all we need. Just 1 more cycle, and then we'll let you go. You can go off and you can do your thing, right? So he agrees. And when he comes back to set on that first day, this is the cycle where they do the entire audition process on a boat.
We're going places.
Right.
We're going places. Okay. So they're on this boat. They all get there day 1 of starting to shoot the next cycle. And Jay sits down, and it's him and it's Tyra in the room at the judges table. And he's thinking to himself, oh my God, finally I get to see my girl again. I, just get to tell her, hey girl, I'm so sorry, about my decision, but I just had to do it for myself. And, but I'm here to do this last cycle with you. He's thinking they're going to have a nice little chat about everything that went down because they haven't spoken at all since he sent off that email. He said he starts speaking to Tyra. Tyra is like, talk to the motherfucking hand. Because I cannot hear you. I cannot see you. It is a stone wall next to me. It is not a person next to me.
Wow.
Literally is completely icing him out.
Completely.
Off camera.
Completely icing him out. So then cameras turn on. The girls are starting to come in. They're auditioning. They're doing their thing. And they're all at the judges table. And that is when all of a sudden now Tyra is, Jay, what you think about her? What you think about that walk? What you do?
All of a sudden turns on and it's a character. Just like the character we saw in this documentary.
Okay. And so Jay's a little confused, and you can even see in the footage that he's kind of like, yeah, she's great.
Got the look.
Yeah, because he has not spoken to this woman at all. He tried to speak before cameras rolled. She didn't talk to him at all. Now cameras are on, and now you are literally, she's putting her arm around him. Oh, Jay.
Besties.
Oh, bestie, I love you. And then once they said cut,
boom.
Off.
Back to not talking to you. Back to not saying a thing. He said that's how that entire cycle went. Where basically that
and
was...
he knew. That's when he knew.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's when he knew, like, okay, so basically it's, you're not talking to me at all. I'm no longer allowed to speak to you type of thing. So, okay.
Like, what?
Now, in the documentary, they asked Tyra, So, girl, have you spoken to Jay Manuel since then? Like, have y'all had any discussion? And she says, no.
Yeah.
They like, you haven't talked to him at all? No. I would like to call him. I think I should call him. Yeah, maybe after this, I'll give him a call. But he's a very special man.
Special man is what she called him.
Very special man.
She mad because of that book. That book, honey.
Because Jay Manuel does write a book. He puts out a little novel. What is it? The Bitch, the Something, and the Photographer. Something like that. I'm messing up the title. Oh my God, I'm getting it all wrong.
I'll find it for you.
Yes. But he does put out this little book where he just talks about his experience about being a fashion photographer, right? So moving on from there.
The wig, the bitch, and the meltdown.
The wig, the bitch, and the meltdown.
That's funny.
That's why she ain't called his ass.
The wig, the bitch, and the meltdown. All right. So from here, Jay goes on to say that he went to being the producer of the creative, right? He was the main producer for the shoots and coming up with the direction for all of them and stuff like that. They take him from that to just on-screen talent. He is completely demoted within the show and the creation of the show. And mind you, they begged him to come back. Right. He was done. And they basically forced him in a way to come back, do this last season. And this is how he's being treated. He's being completely iced out. And he's being totally demoted from producer to just talent.
He's talent. He's on-camera talent.
What? And then in these parts of the cycles as well, he says that the team of America's Next Top Model, they would deliberately choose horrible photos of the girls. He is there at the shoots.
He's directing the shoots. He knows what's happening.
He knows what they look like.
He knows what their best shot is out of all the shots. He's looking behind the camera. And he's seeing all of the things come up on the computer. And he's like, okay, we got the shot.
Yes.
Only for them to then go and choose some bullshit.
Yep. Just so that when they come into the judges thing, the judges can be as harsh as possible to these girls, and so that they can continue to push whatever storyline and narrative that they want to push about the girls. Maybe it's, they're angry. We think that they're rough, and we think that they're, aggressive. So we're going to purposefully choose ugly photos of, or like their worst photos, so that the judges can be really harsh, because we want the girl to give some type of backlash, and we want them to have a fight on camera. Everything started to become trying to curate genuine models, and it just turned into straight up reality. Then we also have also Nigel Barker, the photographer for the show. He comes on and he also says that a lot of times they did not pick the right winner either.
Yeah, they didn't.
They didn't pick the right winner. Everything started to turn into storyline.
It was a circus.
Yeah.
A general circus. It was genuinely for your entertainment. It wasn't for anything else, but we're making a fool of all these people on TV, making them feel some type of way, and then leaving them high and dry.
Yep. Just like that. When I move, you move. So some past winners and contestants, of course, are also in this documentary, and they're talking about how even if you would go on to win America's Next Top Model, that did not mean you would go off and have a beautiful life and this wonderful career and be a top model. That just was not promised to you. Mind you, of course, the show never promised that they would have a great career. It just promised them, when you leave here, you will be leaving with a contract, right? But lots of times those contracts turn into nothing, and
people didn't want to work
with them because they saw America's Next Top Model as trash reality TV.
Yep.
It's where girls go and they fight and they argue, and I don't want to have my model being someone that they saw on TV, in a hot tub with some man, or throwing drinks at people, or having fights and arguments. They just didn't want that as actual representation for their agency. So
it went against the order of things too. I think, there's such a strict order in how this fashion and modeling and entertainment industry in general goes. And they feel like it was almost like an easy bake oven for these random girls out of nowhere to become models. And like, that's not how you become a real supermodel. So they had the doors shut in their face because they said, you're not models, you're reality TV stars. Get off of my...
We're supposed to be looking at the clothes, not you.
Not you. People want to see you. This is ridiculous, you know? It's so crazy how times have changed.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So crazy.
Times have changed, man.
So crazy. Which they talked about too in the documentary. They're like, oh, it's just so funny because now anyone can be a model or an influencer. All you need is a phone and an Instagram.
Yep.
But back then, there were so many more barriers. So yeah, this show coming out and just trying to throw a model into the world, the modeling world was like, and who are you? I don't think so. No. Danielle comes on. Remember, she won, right? She won her cycle, and she comes on to say, yeah, it was so great when I won. I'm thinking my life is going to change. I moved to New York. I was living in like this model apartment with all these other, upcoming aspiring models. But she was just basically thrown to the wolves. The cameras were cut. They said, great job. You're on your own, right? So they asked her, did you know other models from your show or just other models during that time that were like a lot more successful than you were, even though you had won America's Next Top Model? She says, yeah. When I was living in that model apartment, you know who I was living with? Chanel Iman.
We all know who she is.
We all know who Chanel Iman is, one of, a top model. And she says that after the show, they both had the same agent, but Danielle was just never getting booked. She was never getting called in. Nothing was ever happening for her post show. So one day Chanel goes out and she meets up with their agent, and she comes back and she says, Danielle, I asked our agent today, how come I always get calls and shoots and stuff like that, but Danielle doesn't? What's going on with that? And the agent told her, well, because Danielle won top model, so we have to treat her differently.
So sad. You feel like you are going on a show to change your life, and you're changing it indeed, but it's not what you thought it would be.
Yeah. Not what you thought
in
it
any
would
way,
be.
shape, or form. And you don't have that mentorship and that foundation that you thought you would have. You thought, I'm going on a show with the Tyra Banks.
Right.
All of these fashion icons and levels. There's J. Manuel. There's Miss J. Like, there's all of this thing. I have people in my corner who are going to fight for me.
Yep.
Nobody was there to fight for her. Nobody. Once the show wrapped, you're just talent, enjoy. You are not of equal to us. That's very much what it gave. It didn't give, I want to take these girls under my wing and help them.
Yeah.
It gave, you are literally helping fund this show and making my check even prettier and bigger every season.
Yeah.
Enjoy what you've got and get on.
Yeah. Because it's time for me to work on the next cycle. So I don't care about what you got going on no more. Bye. And to add insult to injury with Danielle, OMG. Eventually, time passes and she actually gets a call from Tyra. And Tyra says, girl, you want to know what's crazy? After you left and you won top model, I already knew right then and there that certain doors would not open to you. And I did nothing to help. I could have stepped in probably and helped push those doors that they tried to close in your face because of the show. But I just didn't. I didn't help you.
Wow.
What? You called me to tell me this?
Not, I'm sorry.
Put
but
this
I
in your
could
diary.
I didn't help you.
And I just chose not to.
I could have helped you and I just didn't.
I know, because at America's Next Top Model, there were doors that you probably couldn't even walk through. And
I kept them shut.
And I had to lock the latch and everything else. I had to make sure you really didn't get it.
I locked up for the night.
I locked up for the rest of the
We closed. Imagine getting a call like that. Like,
Oh my God.
hey girl, I know you struggling. I know you're really going through it and you don't know why you've left this show, you've won, and you don't know why things are not working out for you. Oh, it's because of me.
Like,
put that in your diary. Don't call me and tell me that shit.
Please
Are you
don't.
crazy?
I don't want that.
OMG.
Danny went off.
Danny went off. And then we get back to Shandy. And if you remember, Tyra also had the Tyra show. Okay. And
Shandy.
Years have passed.
Right? Tyra has the Tyra show, and she brings on Shandy and a couple of the other girls from previous cycles. But specifically, she has Shandy come on, and they gonna talk about this Milan incident. What happened in Milan with her and that guy. And Shandy's telling her backstage, that's something I don't want to touch.
Nope.
I don't want to talk about that.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen
I
it.
don't want to see it.
I have no desire.
Show it to me.
Tyra, okay, girl.
Don't worry.
They go out there and Tyra says, so about Milan. And she says, I never watched it. I haven't seen it. I don't want to see it. No, you never saw it? No. Well, look here.
Bloop. There it is.
What the fuck?
We're going to take a look at it.
Puts it on the screen. Shandy literally puts her head down, shuts her eyes really tight.
I just fucking said.
I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see that.
I do not want to see it.
It's a traumatic experience.
You know? And she still made her sit through that. And Tyra was like, so did you and Eric work it out? Shandy's like, you bitch. No, we didn't work it out. We tried. He moved to New York for me. But guess what? Because this was shown in that show, we would be walking down the street and people would be coming up to me, calling me a whore,
a slut.
And my boyfriend is standing right next to me. And he couldn't handle that.
Wow.
So no, we didn't work out, Tyra.
And also going to tell her, hey, Shandy, I noticed you didn't look at the clip. Why not? Don't act like you didn't just hear me.
Bitch.
Do I got to run it back for you? You know why.
Oh
my God.
They should have jumped her.
They should have.
All them girls should have jumped around.
They should have.
Yeah.
Somebody just needs a wail on her.
So then over at UPN, things are shifting. Things are changing. Okay, the head of the network was swapped out. And they come to Tyra and they say, hey, Tyra girl, so there are no sacrificial cows or whatever she said.
Yeah. No sacred cows.
No sacred cows.
No sacred cows.
There are no sacred cows, and you need to do some big changes to this show, or we gonna have to pull the plug on you because we see a different direction for the show than what you have going on.
There's a dip. That's what they said.
And there's a dip happening in ratings, and we think we know why that is. She's like, oh, okay, what's the reason? They said, well, it would be J Manuel, Miss J, and Nigel Barker. They all need to go.
What?
They all need to go.
The root?
So literally the backbone, the spine of the show are these three personalities, and you are getting rid of them. So Tyra sends Miss J flowers for his birthday. Happy birthday. Yay. I love ya.
Love you so much.
Love ya. Oh. 5 days later, you're fired.
To everybody.
What the fuck?
To everybody. Everybody gets fired, right? Both of the J's and Nigel get fired. And they're like, what the hell? Mr. J is pissed because he was forced to stay. Then he goes to do that final cycle. He's completely iced out, completely demoted, and now unceremoniously fired?
Right.
You could have let me go. You could have just let me go and have my dignity. I wanted to leave, right? So, as they're getting ready, to just make their departure from the show, a leak.
And let's keep in mind, they had an agreement prior to the leak.
Yes, they had an agreement
that there would be a press release
standard press release
with each of their quotes on them leaving the show graciously. All of that, right?
Yes.
Had it ready.
And then here comes a leak to page 6 that says, boom, 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 boom. Tyra fires her whole entire team, fires Miss J, Mr. J, and Nigel Barker. What? Completely not what they discussed. And now, once you put out that someone's been fired like that
in the mass media,
yes, people are going to have questions, and that also is going to fuck with your credibility as talent and as, a professional in this world. People are going to wonder, ooh, why did you get fired like that? Why did they just dump you like that? You must have did something, or, that causes bad reputation.
It leaves room for anyone to think anything.
Yes, it's horrible. So, of course, they all felt blindsided. Like, what the hell? Where did this leak even come from? And Jay says, well, those phone calls that we had about our departure were very, very, very confidential. We went through multiple channels to make sure it was as tight as can be. So there's not very many sources from where this leak could have come. Tyra, it was you,
Tyra mail.
girl.
Tyra mail to page 6. Send her Tyra mail straight to page 6.
You know she did.
Of all places. He was like, page 6? How you don't even know?
Like,
But the way that we ran confidentiality on that show, ain't no way there was a leak to page 6.
page 6 of all
places.
of all gossip.
It was deliberate. It was not a leak. It was deliberate.
It was deliberate.
What?
So of course they all feel blindsided, and they decide, okay, let's all three of us come together and let's do a televised interview, right? Mm-hmm. And in this interview, of course, they're asking questions. They're trying to poke and prod and see what can they squeeze out with this information, right? And one of the questions that they ask is, so Tyra, we basically hear she's like a bitch to work with. What do you say to that? Is she difficult? Is she, not such a nice person? And Miss J clutches Jay's knee up under that table like, bitch, you better talk.
Mm-hmm. This your moment.
This is your moment. Say what you need to say. But Jay is still in this, but I still revere her.
I want to protect her.
I want to protect her, and I don't want to badmouth her. So he's like, well, we're all perfectionists here, and we all want things done a certain way, and we're not difficult. It's just, we're professionals, basically, is what it boils down to. Miss J is looking at him like, really? That's really,
bitch.
All right. I'm not gonna say nothing if you ain't saying nothing, but very interesting, right? So after this interview and everything, and after the news comes out that they all get fired, Tyra says, I cried that whole night. I cried myself to sleep
like a baby
that whole night. Oh,
I cried like a baby.
And she says that she was feeling pressure that if she didn't fire them, that then she would be chopped and her show would be chopped, because they're telling her, girl, you get rid of them or that's your ass, basically. So she felt like, I have to do what the people, above me are saying. I have to get rid of my 3 hearts. That's what she said. My hearts, my 3 hearts.
My heartbeats. No. And it's so crazy how I'm sitting here looking at this, and I said there's so much that we're not saying still.
Oh, yeah.
Still.
Because you can tell from how they were reacting to the firing and retelling the story. Mm-hmm. They're like, this ain't no upper anything. This is you're scheming, Tyra.
Yeah.
You on your scheming.
Mm-hmm. And Tyra says, I still don't think till this day that they know that it came from above me, or that they believe that it came from above me, but it really did. It wasn't from me. I didn't want to do this. I was basically forced to do this, right? So after they cut the 3 hearts of the show, ratings dropped.
Tremendous.
Tanked. I mean, 54, 60% drops in ratings. It's fucking horrible, right? And so they start trying to do little gimmicks to try to get viewers back. It gets very, very desperate. They're having college edition. They're having exclusively 5, 7 and under. We doing boys. Now we can have boys. What else should we do? They are scrambling. They're scrambling trying to get viewers back, and it does not happen. Now we're at cycle 22, and they look at Tyra and they said, maybe it's you. Actually, it might be you that need to go.
Remember how I said there was no secret cows? Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Slaughter.
We got Rita Ora.
No, literally, we got Rita Ora.
A girl who keeps
can't sing, can't model, can't really dress. I mean, just
Rita keeps a job.
A host.
Keeps a job, though.
Rita keeps a job.
That's what she does do.
Yeah, it does.
So after cycle 22, Tyra gets booted as the host. They bring in Rita Ora, and the show continues until cycle 24. So only 2 cycles went after Tyra got booted, right? And from there, Nigel kept working, right, as a photographer, and he goes on to work with Miss Universe and Taylor Swift and all these people, right? His career continues on. Mr. J goes on and he's still doing his thing with fashion, and he started his own beauty line and things like that. He's still doing makeup, and his career is still on the up as well. Wrote a book, right? The Wig, the Bitch, and the Meltdown. Okay. And then Miss J also goes on and his career continues on. He's still teaching girls how to walk that catwalk. And then
traveling, doing top models all over the world.
Yes, he branches off into other top models all around the world. And from there, in 2022, right after Christmas, Miss J has a stroke. The stroke puts him in a coma for 5 whole months. Oof. And he had to relearn how to walk, how to talk, how to eat, everything. It was like starting all over, right? And during this time, once he was back up from his coma and he was able to, be a little bit more communicative and things like that, a little bit more alert. Nigel and Mr. J, they come to visit him in the hospital and they come to see how he's doing. They're checking on him. They're staying in touch, right? And it was just a really, really sweet moment where all 3 of them in the documentary, they're sitting in like a little circle and they're just talking about how they're glad that their friendship was able to maintain and last even through the bullshit that they went through on the show, and how they're just so proud of Miss J about how his progress is coming along. And, it's just a really sweet moment. They cry. They take a selfie. It was really beautiful.
It was. Mm-hmm. It was heartwarming.
It was so heartwarming.
After all the shit that we had to watch them go through.
And then they say, Tyra, have you gone to see Miss J in the hospital? No, I have not. I haven't gone to see him, but I'm going to. Right? Miss J is like, yeah, Nigel came. Mr. J came, but I never saw Tyra. And he said, I was in that hospital for over like a year and a half. And I don't know if he's still currently in like another form of a hospital, like a nursing care place or something like that. Mm-hmm. But he was in the hospital at least for a year and a half. She never came. She never called. But she sent a text message and said, I want to come see you.
But she still ain't.
But she still has yet to come see them.
My God.
Still has yet to come see him. Child. And then Tyra says, you have no idea we have coming for cycle 25.
She starts talking about herself and her things. And I'm in Australia, guys.
I've got ice cream.
Smize.
And I've got cycle 25.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's in store.
Girl.
Who cares? Nobody cares.
Who cares? Nobody cares anymore because honestly, modeling just isn't what it used to be.
Nope. It's not.
Back then, the show was so magnetic because there were so many barriers to entry before you could become a model. And now here comes this new thing that's like, you can be a model possibly if you come on this show, you have a really good shot. That's just not how it is anymore. Like they said in the documentary, all you need is a phone and an Instagram and you're already there. Why do I need to go on this show with Tyra Banks now, especially?
What makes it worthwhile?
What makes it worthwhile?
I'm curious to know, especially after this documentary.
Yeah.
Man. They might give that the boot. She may have something. You know what? They're not. You want to know why? Because they're going to have it based in Australia where she's living, probably.
Oh, probably.
And do a whole other she's going to have her own model world over there.
I could see that.
And okay.
I could see that. I guess.
Tyra.
No
remorse, no nothing. Just
look at me, what I'm doing.
There are parts of me that understand completely where they're coming from. Mm-hmm. But there are also parts of me that feel like there are many ways that everybody could have taken more ownership of situations.
Yeah.
And also knowing that, everyone was so reliant on this show because that's how they were introduced to us as America. But also knowing after that solid introduction, a lot of people could have left a lot sooner. Mm-hmm. Mr. J could have left a lot sooner. Miss J could have left a lot sooner. If you didn't like it, Nigel could have left a lot sooner. It would have hurt them more sooner if you would have left. Once you noticed there was you know what? And I know that Jay obviously tried to leave, but they called him back. But you also didn't have to go back either. I'm just saying, these are all things that A lot of people are holding Tyra's feet to the fire, and that's true. Her feet need to be held to the fire, but everybody else's need to be held as well.
Right.
Everybody has some
She didn't work
part
alone.
or point in this, and that's production and everybody on the panel and more.
Yeah,
Nobody is innocent in this documentary, but there was truth that was revealed.
Yep.
And it seemed like, the guys were a lot more sympathetic. It seemed like,
for sure.
Especially Mr. J and Nigel. Miss J is Miss J. Miss J gonna always be Miss J. Miss J was like, the walk was terrible.
Yep.
Saying it, call it like it is, but doesn't do it in a way that makes you feel like you're trying to stomp on me and make me feel like
scum of the earth.
Yeah, it's just like, listen, this is how I feel, but also I'm teaching you. So what you gonna do?
Yeah,
everybody got that teacher.
Yeah.
Yes.
Craziness.
Crazy. I'm just so happy because I remember during this time when America's Next Top Model was still on our TV screens. Okay, my sister was in high school or coming out of high school, and this show was on, and she really wanted to be a model. Like, she really wanted to be a model. And for a couple cycles, she did audition. Like, she sent in her photos and the videos and all that kind of stuff. And looking back at it, I'm like, I'm kind of glad that she was never selected because, man, I could only imagine, like, what would they have put my sister through? I would have to go beat up Tyra. Oh my God.
You would have.
Yeah.
You would have absolutely been up there beating her up, getting her. Pow, pow, pow.
Oh my God. So I'm glad we got to dodge that bullet, but I'm sad that the other girls didn't, Definitely is a super reflection of the times, though, for certain.
Yeah, it was the early 2000s. That's kind of how things were.
Yeah.
And it's not an excuse, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like, it's genuinely true. So I know that in a way that they meant well, but there was a line that, that Jay was talking about that was crossed to where you actually don't. We're now doing photo shoots on drug addicts, homeless people, race swapping. We're losing the formula. And a lot of the girls talked about how they could not use any of the photos they took in America's Next Top Model because they were all too made up, too done. They couldn't use it for their portfolio.
Yeah.
They needed to see how they actually looked, So that was a really big piece of it, too. It's like we left that with nothing. Not even the photos to help us.
Yep.
Because a lot of them we couldn't use.
Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy. What a time. And that was Reality Check. ANTM.
Yes. Wow. Well, thank you so much for watching and listening. Okay. Make sure that y'all click the link in our bios and our descriptions. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Okay. Click that link. It's going to help you connect with us all over. You can follow us on our social media at TBU Podcast. You can send us an email, theblackUmbrellaPC@gmail.com. Like Wes said, we do have a Spotify playlist of all the really awesome music that we listen to every week from season 8. Get into our traders reviews. They're doing well. They're doing swell. Get up in there. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube. Leave a like, leave a comment. I've been loving the comments that you guys have been leaving as well. They've been awesome. Join our discussion group. We have a discussion group. Jump up in there. We can talk about, you want to talk about this documentary? We can talk about that. You want to talk about traders? If you want to give us suggestions for what to talk about in our next episodes, whether it be stuff you saw on social media or maybe a cool movie or even some music that you think we haven't heard of that you want us to listen to, drop it in there. We want to see. We want to know. And we love y'all so much. We'll talk to y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.